Bit weird to be like stumbling your words nervously after you've already had sex with her. Like that was the awkward part and you managed that, but now speaking is where your brain draws the line on nerves?
ため若いし人間の俺にとっては十分可愛い子なんだから問題ないの。
マジかよ。何をどう見たらあれが可愛いんだ?
The fact that she clearly doesn't look old at all? If he's so damn wrong, why don't you at least drop some knowledge on us as to how she looks older to you?
エルフは何歳だろうと可愛いだろう。何が不満だ。
マナが腐ってんだろ。わかんないのか。
Oh well, fair enough then. They did address it.
ブルーズ、カンチャル。
Calling these two and then awkwardly waiting a few seconds in order for the anime overlords to put text on the screen introducing them, confusing the pair who just wanted a quiet drink.
それよりもお前らレビューを書け。点数もだ。レビュー
For the first and only time of the video, nope.
お絵面書かせてやるぜ。
それはどうかな。
ほら。
書いたよ。
お、どれどれ。
As opposed to just asking them for their opinions? Why would anyone ever make someone write something down if you're gonna pick it straight up and read it? This scene goes on for an extremely long amount of time. Reaction occurs long after an attack cliché.
俺も200年以上生きてて初めて見たぜ。結構レアだな。
Saying you haven't seen one in the entire 200 plus years that you've been alive, and then adding, they're pretty rare.
ヘビは無理だと NG 食らいました。あんなにむしゃぶりつきたい外見なのに。
How can you give the experience a 3 out of 10 if you never even got through the damn front door? Drinking an alcoholic beverage and going afterwards cliche. Seriously, look out for this now that I've said it and you'll totally notice it happening all the time, especially with women in anime.
ゼロじゃねえよ。なんだこれは。ふざけてんのか。
ふざけてなんかいねえよ。
Yeah, take a sim for this. How are you gonna do it with a damn fairy, bro? They're like the size of your hand. You know what? Never mind. Take a sim. Let's move on.
初回登録としてブツのサイズを測られる。登録
CGI. Not only does this segment go on for quite some time, but statistically speaking, it's highly unlikely that they would, in turn, guess correctly the top 5 least most popular species to marry, going from 5 to 4 to 3 to 2 to 1. Get out of here with that!
まったく、これ以上クリム君に変なこと吹き込まないでほしいんだけど。
She says this in spite of Krim having written many reviews already.
もう少し走らんよですね。何言ってんだ。せっかく女の体になったんだから観察しないとよ。
Let's go ahead and leave the damn lollies out of it though.
この道300年のベテランさんだ。ちなみに659歳である。
今日はよろしく。
Having over 300 years of experience and yet finding this particular situation a bit too much to handle for some unknown reason.
ちっこくて可愛い初々しい新人さんだ。見た目によらず少しエースな一面も。
I don't like where this is going.
ハーフリングって可愛いけどロリっぽいのが少し抵抗あるんだよな。
No, 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 no.
でも人間もあなたより年上だとは思いますよ。
Please, lady, you don't understand.
マジで。
You don't know what you're doing here.
え
Stop! Stop!
こんなの。
おい、クリムのやつ完全に確信して選んでんじゃねえか。
Even though Krim's never gone to that place or done anything like that before, yeah?
なんで行く準備してるんですか。
Krim freaks out like this after only just a second ago slightly half-heartedly mentioning maybe going somewhere else and then acts like it's been mentioned half a dozen times and is the only logical route to take.
スタンクたちが復帰するまで3週間ほどかかりましたとさ。
Bit weird for the others to be literally talking about them having died in that case.
結構遠くて危険だからあのスケベども連れて行きなよ。
Those perverts don't work for you though, do they? I wonder how they managed to stretch this episode out!
でも結局途中でこういう店に寄っちゃうわけね。
Imagine judging those two for this stuff when Krim has been tagging along willingly pretty much every episode.
それに乳首の形が浮き出たこの焼き加減エロくていいよな。
ちょっとスタンクさん
Says the person eating food off of some chick. What the hell? Why doesn't anyone point out the hypocrisy?
絶対に何としても必ず私に代わって
Fist clenching sound effects.
おいクリム、キノコ食いに行かねえか？
何です？キノコ？マイコニノさんでも抱きに行くんですか？
お前もすっかりスケベになったなクリム。
なんですかいきなり
Perhaps because neither of them even mentioned sex and yet you brought it up?
でもこう草だらけじゃ道に迷っちまうぜ。
And yet the path is clear just before this is said for a second on screen and in 25 seconds time.
いいじゃん。
Dude, no lollies, come on!
チャル10点クリムくん8点なんだゴーレムの店意外と楽しんできちゃってるじゃないの
And fancy telling us why she thought that sending them to a place where they can build their own ideal woman would be something that they'd hate?
7点。
Bruh, how are you gonna rate something 7 out of 10 and yet at the same time say you can't recommend it? Krim gives 0 out of 10 for something after saying my mind went kind of blank so I don't remember what happened at all.
はいどうしたんでしょうかいくらなんでもダメですよ
当然だろそんなこと。
え
だが
A minute ago, Krim is holding on the plate some cheese and a beer, but now there's only 2 in the shot and the tray is empty. I don't even know what happened to the cheese. Not even gonna lie, that stadium looks incredibly low quality in this scene review.
めったにないけどな。大概は小1時間も待てば1人くらい来るもんだ。
つうかお前、そんなにこの店に通ってるのかよ。
Even though logically speaking, he could easily hear that from someone else.
それを待ってる僕たちはすごい変態なのでは
You continuously come to these things and then act morally better than them. What is wrong with you?
他の連中が何と言おうとジョーの産みたての卵が飲める。ラミアにとってこれほど素晴らしい店があるだろうか。
Apparently the snake dude randomly waited until the other 3 had written their reviews, then read them, and then wrote his own review. Very weird way of doing it.
こっちはぼちぼち小腹が空いてきたってのに。
仕方ねえな。俺たちで作るか。
あれどこ行くんですか
どこってオムレツ作るんだよ。
These two randomly, but at the same time, decide to head on up to her room to take some eggs to eat, and if they decided already to do this as a joke before coming to the place, that's kind of weird too. Like, after she attacks us, let's pretend, or maybe not actually even pretend, we're gonna eat the eggs in her room, lol. It's weird. I think it was meant to be spur of the moment, but it doesn't come across as such.
三つへの部屋スペシャル先バス場人気投票
Dude, how are you going to finish the episode with more than 5 minutes left on the clock? I've never seen an anime ever do that before. What are you trying to pull?
それでは皆さんお待ちかね結果をドピュッと発表しちゃうわよ
Without showing too much, because I still don't trust YouTube, even when the video is unlisted, and I've turned off ads myself, they basically spend the entire end of this episode going through the top 10 reviewer species and getting in a few comments along the way. It's kind of a big waste of time, really. Why are you all so out of breath for, though?
だがそんな口がいつまでできるかな。こっちの方は全然可愛くないんだぜ。ほら見ろ。
Bruh, such a creepy thing to do to a fellow guy friend. Like, what are you doing?
触らないでけだものと拒絶されるとすごくやりづらいです
やっぱりメイドですよ。
お許しください、ご主人様。
言い訳はでするがいいわ。
お前童貞のくせに
いい芝居するっちゃ。
Not even joking, lads. The whole virgin joke got a little overused after number 3, and this is like number 6 or 7 now.
たくどいつもこいつも
You're not bothering with them, are you? Are you engaging them in conversation, trying to change their mindset, or purely serving them food and drink? Because you do that since it's your job. What you on about?
この塔60階、約1000室。
全部サキバスのお店だ。
でっかすぎませんか
If the business is there to facilitate it, then absolutely not. That's like going to a Walmart and hearing it's the biggest store in the USA because it's used so regularly, and someone saying that's kind of overdoing it, don't you think? No, I don't. In fact, I disagree with you.
どんな注文をつけたところで大体は出てくるんだ。
ウィース
はい、いらっしゃいませ。ご要望は？
Taking the new people's order who just walked in through the door rather than talking to the other three with the main guy who haven't been spoken to yet. Talk about rude!
ロリとお姉さん先バスダブルで姉妹丼シチューコスチュームパジャマ女の子部屋で
No lollies, get out of here!
私よね。私に。ねえ、誰？ねえ。
Instead of asking what Krim wants, like they did with literally everyone else, they just go beeps out and demand they be picked.
そういえば連中ずいぶん見かけないわね。今回は特別な依頼みたいで。ま、静かでいいか。
Do they really cause a lot of commotion? Every scene I've seen, bar 1 or 2, has them sat at a table eating and drinking. The only time they caused trouble was when they were on about going up to her room to get an egg, but that's not the norm.
どうせ手ぶらでも2日はキロにかかるんだ。
だからこそ早く帰りてえんだよ俺は。
Two people say the exact same thing in the exact same way at the exact same time cliché.
それにしてももう少し近くに城建てないか
？10年単位で眠りにつくにはこのぐらい郊外が良いのだよ。まあこの城のそばにも一軒戯れに先バス店の用意はしてあるが。
He gets asked why his castle is so far away from civilization, and he says it makes it easier to sleep for decades at a time, but then 1 minute later talks about how he's got a brothel right near his castle that he owns.
どうせ大してお客さんも来ませんし。だったらもう公爵様パトロンのもと安定収入でここで
Which you spend on what? You were just laid there without your brain in your head when they arrived. He mentioned how you don't do anything for decades sometimes, so what are you in need of cash for?
住んでいた方がマシかなって。
アンデッドの取材自体はクリム抜きで済ませとくべきだから。いや、あいつがアンデッド抱いたら多分強制的に成仏してしまう。
So you just made a massive assumption based on literally nothing then. Okay, alright.
公爵ってめちゃくちゃ偉いんじゃねえの？あんな砕けた態度でよかったのか？
Run down place, what are you on about, dude? It was a massive castle with super nice stuff inside. What about any of that is run down?
はい。はあ、誰に誘われたわけでもなく一人で遊んでしまった。僕はもうダメだ。
Super oddly having this meltdown right after you've already spent the entire night there doing your thing, which you've done multiple times. Like, what an odd time to be doing that on their doorstep. Like, go home!
なんていうか。
Too many lollies, dude. Take a sin.
よう、帰ってきたか。スタンク、ゼル。
カンチャル。
お前たちも行くだろ。40点の楽園によ。
Such a weird assumption to make the very second you walk straight in after greeting them.
ああ、クリム君なら。
スタンクたちが連れて行ったっちゃ。
スタンク、ゼル。
It's hardly their fault when Krim is just the type of employee to apparently happily take off mid-shift.
さて、そろそろ寝るか。
They all finish eating and immediately go to sleep as soon as the guy says to, one by one. It's very weird, like the elf is hundreds of years old. Why don't you let him decide when it is that he wants to sleep?
後の詳しいシステムに関しましては、お連れになった私からゆっくりお聞きくださいね。
That's such an oddly long time to hold a wink at someone, bruh.
おはよう。目が覚めた？
Asking someone if they're awake when they're awake cliché.
ダメよ、朝から。
いいじゃないかよ。な？
She describes going at it early in the morning as like being bad, and yet doesn't add an opinion, jokingly or otherwise, to the notion that people ask her to eat food, change its shape, and then, you know, finish up?
キエルと一緒に遊んだことも忘れちゃうのかなって少し寂しくなったりもしましたが、次に来た時もちゃんと覚えてくれてるようです。
So, that's a mute point then? She'll remember you, just not if you don't come back in.
スタンクさんたちのレビューが待ち遠しいですね。
きっと夢みたいなところっちゃ。
この世の天国だべ。
何が天国よ。こっちは地獄の忙しさよ。
Why are you butting into their conversation with your own problems, though?
君たちがこのレビューの筆者かい？
asking them this question when their pictures are on the paper next to their reviews. Can't show it even on an exclusive like this, but they basically spend a solid few minutes with the guy going over quite a few of the previous women they visited, saying they're great. I get it.
Oh yeah.
Even though he was in front of them, she came up behind him with the knife. When she goes for another swing, they're suddenly behind her, holding her. Weird CGI blood that disappears after it's been expelled from the mouth. CGI!
ここは冒険者の酒場なんだ。依頼書はいっぱいある。
今まさに働いて稼いでいる最中なんですけど。
Sorry, but gotta pick you up on the incorrect use of the word literally because it's irritating.
お前体勢はすげえじゃん。
体勢？
Nah.
冒険者として目覚ましい
Naruto, run!
なんでなんでなんでなんでなんでなんでなんで
Ooh, it's time to crank out my new cliche sin again. Person drinks and then goes, Pwah! Cliche.
そうだな。今まで縁がなかったが、そろそろ言っておくか。いろんな意味で。だな。
やだやだ。
Why though?
サイズの君で。
俺君がいい。
Can't show it, but enough of the lollies!
意外ですね。そうなんですか。お前童貞捨ててきたらどうだべ。そろそろ魔法使いになってしまう。
Who would have thought they'd mention him being a virgin again? Creator follower, Lifty, Corey Bush, Inakami Water, Manuel Morales, Marquez, Nick Wyndham, Allkeeper, The Ever Commander, Adelisk, Bird Without a Word, Brendan Creer, Christopher Willis, Emmanuel Gonzalez, Gaten 2000, Jessica Starks, Kepman, Cumfroik, Kylie W, Magnus, Nathan Burr, Satai Kuyore, Sean, Sebastian Ramirez, Wiccan Faye, Ali 50, Baked Patats 3827, Dark Lord Bloody Soul, Top Defender Matt Mallow, Guru, Israel Caldera, Yor Edfinson, Jonas Stahl, Jaffa 6263, Kieran Robinson, Kelnock, Kevin Nauta, Gonito, Laxus, Luis Cruz, Matthew Blansett, Nicholas C, 1928, Oliver Smiley Reacts, Peter Milligan, Saint Flo 25, Sentimento, Storm 970, The Elementator Wars.